On today's episode of Locked On A's, Libby Schaaf is confident about the Tuesday vote, and we have a participant in the World Series, so we're going to talk about him. We're not going to be happy about it, but we're going to talk about him, so let's get into it.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 372 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's episode, we're talking about Mayor Libby Schaaf's comments about Tuesday's vote, what that means if the vote goes through, and also the Houston Astros are in the World Series, so we're going to talk about them for a minute. Not in great terms, but we're going to talk about them, so that's what we got coming up for you guys on today's episode. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join me this weekend to get in on the action. You don't want to be anywhere else. You want to be on Green Room chatting with me about baseball, my friends. Also, make sure to follow the podcast wherever you like to hear podcasts. We're on YouTube now. Follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the right term. You follow us on all the other podcast platforms. You subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to, subscribe, like, comment, do all of those things. The comments are down there. Just click comment and type some words, and then we'll have a conversation. It'll be great. Also, if you like having conversations, follow us on Twitter at Locked On A's. I'm also on Twitter at ByJasonB on Twitter and in the Spotify Green Room app. And if you guys have any questions for us, please send those to lockedonathletics@gmail.com. Also, thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We're free and available on all platforms. But let's get into today's episode. And that is on Friday. As I'm recording this, it is Friday. So as you're listening to this, it's Saturday. But on Friday, Casey Pratt of ABC and one of the best sources for A's ballpark information spoke with Oakland Mayor Libby Schaff about the Alameda County vote that's happening on Tuesday. I talked about this vote and what it entails a little bit more in detail earlier in the week. So if you missed it, go check on like 2 episodes ago. Check on those on YouTube or in your podcast feed. But basically, what it was about is the vote is going to determine if the County of Alameda is going to sign on to the ballpark project and help with some of the financing that's associated with getting the ballpark built and some of the stuff around it, and improving their community. That's what this vote would be about. It'd be a non-binding vote, but it would be a stamp to say, yes, we are on board. Let's move forward together. If they vote no, then that's not great either. That's basically the end of A's baseball in Oakland. But we do have some good news. I only threw that in there as a caveat because there was some good news, and that is that Mayor Libby Schaaf, in her chat with Casey Pratt, that rhyme, did not mean it to, she said that she feels confident that there will be a vote on Tuesday and that vote will be yes. And yes is in all caps. So that's got to feel good. Hopefully she's not playing politics with my heart, because I would not like that. But the reason that she included the words that, she's confident there will be a vote is because there is no guarantee that there's actually going to be a vote, because there's no actual agenda for this meeting, as I mentioned in, I think it was Tuesday's podcast. So we don't know necessarily what they're going to talk about or what they're going to do with the ballpark situation in this meeting, but the speculation has been there for weeks that they would be discussing the ballpark and that they would conduct a non-binding vote on the project during their October 26th meeting. So that is on Tuesday. That's the meeting that you want to pay attention to as closely as you can. It doesn't look like it's going to be streaming or, they're going to have audio of it, but follow the reports. Check your Twitter feeds on Tuesday. I'll be sure to retweet them all for you. So follow us at Locked On A's and you'll get the information you need. And I'll also definitely be doing an episode about what happened and some of the takeaways for Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, one of those two. we'll see how the schedule goes. But Mayor Schaaf also said in this interview she did with Casey Pratt, quotes, "I commend the county for the due diligence that they have performed over the last several weeks to really dig into the numbers and economic benefits for them and their mission, particularly to deliver on public health," end quote. Just more things, give you a little bit more of what she was thinking when she was saying, yes, I think that there's going to be a vote, and yes, I think they're going to vote yes. Yes, 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 yes. Really, she said yes. That's all that I took from this is she said, yes, I do believe there's going to be a vote, and I do think they're going to vote yes. That means very good things could be coming to Oakland. And by good things, I mean a ballpark, a brand new ballpark. That's what I'm talking about. Got me excited. And this is all great to hear. These are all great things that you want to hear from the mayor if you're rooting for an A's ballpark in Oakland. And Tuesday should be another stepping stone moment working towards getting that ballpark built. From here, according to Casey Pratt, again, great source. Follow him on Twitter as well. I assume it's just Casey Pratt, just at Casey Pratt. But according to Casey Pratt, assuming that the county votes yes, which they're kind of expected to at this point, they can reach a final financial plan, which is the next step there. And the EIR, or the environmental impact report. EIR is just how you're always going to see it. It's the environmental thing. How is a ballpark and what they plan on developing going to impact the environment? Environmental impact report. That's what it is. I don't know why I had to spell it out so clearly, but I did. You're welcome. That is expected to be released before the end of the year. So there's only a couple of months left. It should be ready in the next couple of months. And then from there, you got the development agreement would come shortly after the EIR. And then all of these are needed before a binding vote can be had. But you're just starting to tick off some boxes, and all of a sudden you got a ballpark, right? That's how this works, right? I'm hoping that's how this works. Mumbo jumbo, all this jargon, so over my head, but Casey Pratt does a good job of kind of breaking it down. So thank you to Casey Pratt. And also thank you for listening to me talk about what I think I know about the A's ballpark. So that's what we are looking at in the near future for the A's ballpark project. First, we have Tuesday's vote. If that's a yes, then we move on to the EIR. And then from there, it's the development agreement. Those are the next 3 steps to getting a ballpark built. Are you excited? I'm excited. I think I'm cautiously optimistic right now. I've been cautiously optimistic for basically the entirety of 2021. So hopefully this thing starts picking up some steam here. But coming up on the show, what a new ballpark would mean for A's fans. So stay locked in. We're Locked On A's, and I will be right back. Slow is just right if you're on vacation, a sloth, or describing QuickBooks. More like slow books. It sucks you in and slows you down with manual processes, integration difficulties, and glitchy delays that leave you scrambling for the numbers that you need. Now is the time to switch to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 financial system, because NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. It's everything you need to grow all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time, no matter how big your business grows. Failing to switch to NetSuite will leave you stuck trying to make sense of your books while your competitors sprint ahead. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since switching to NetSuite. And right now, special financing is back. NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind financing package available only to those who switch today. Head to netsuite.com/lockedon right now. Get special financing at netsuite.com/lockedon, netsuite.com/lockedon. Today's episode is also brought to you by the best tasting protein bar in the galaxy, and that is Built Bar, my friends. Built Bars are delicious. They're my best friends. I didn't know that I could be best friends with a protein bar, but I am. They send me delicious treats all the time. They sent me these ones, blueberry muffin. I had one. It's tasty. It is so soft and chewy. It doesn't give you that gross protein bar feel. These taste like candy bars. They're good for you. They are nice treats to have just in your pocket. You're like, hey, I want something for lunch. Built Bar. Hey, I want something because I forgot to have a little snack. Built Bar. Hey, I didn't eat all day. Built Bar. You get like a bunch of them. I got a bunch. Have all of the Built Bars. It's not that hard. The blueberry one is absolutely fantastic, though. And if you don't want blueberry and you want to just have like a little sampler pack, you can go get a mixed box and you'll get 2 of each of their 9 core flavors like coconut, cherry barcia, raspberry, mint brownie, double chocolate, salted caramel, strawberry, orange, cookies and cream, and German chocolate. And the way you get all those is going to built.com and using promo code LOCKED15. You will get 15% off of your order when you use that promo code locked on. So use promo code locked on and get 15% off at built.com. All right. Well, that was fun. Hey, how are you guys feeling about the A's ballpark project right now? Reading Casey Pratt's words in his interview with Libby Schaaf gave me some confidence. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's where I'm going to land for quite a while until there are shovels in the ground and a ballpark is completely built. Cautiously optimistic that there's going to be a ballpark built. I'm going to be a holdout there because I remember in college in like 2003, 4, 5. I don't know what year I gave this speech, but I was in a speech class and I was delivering not a dissertation, but a speech about the A's potentially moving down to Fremont, and that was 15 years ago, I would say. So that was fun. And I've been going through this for a while. I'm tired of it. So I'm cautiously optimistic because I've been doing it for almost 2 decades. So hopefully there's a resolution at some point. How are you guys feeling about just everything that you've been reading? I know that there's been conflicting reports, but it seems like this, at least the city of Oakland and potentially the county of Alameda, is trying to make this thing happen. So I'm feeling a little bit better. The A's are kind of quiet, but really, what else are they supposed to be doing right now except for like, yeah, woo. I guess they could be cheerleading their own project, but that's not John Fisher's thing. He's an introvert, I assume. Or he's Bruce Wayne? He's not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne would spend money on this team. At least I think that Bruce Wayne, the Batman would spend money on this team. Alrighty, let's get into it. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to hit subscribe on our new YouTube channel, wherever you like to hear podcasts. We are free and available on all platforms. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at by Jason B on Twitter and in the Spotify Green Room app. If you guys have any questions for us, please send those to lockedonathletics@gmail.com. If you guys send me some questions, I will do a Monday mailbag every week. If you guys want me to, send in your questions. Let me know what they are. Locked On A's, lockedonathletics@gmail.com. Also, thank you guys one more time for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I really appreciate you guys. But let's get back into this. And I don't want to speak for every A's fan, what this means, what a ballpark would mean for every A's fan. But I will say that if a ballpark deal does go through, I think that we'd be over the moon excited. I think that everybody would feel just a sense of relief if this actually happened. Because as I said for the YouTube audience, this has been hanging over our heads for nearly 2 decades. We're tired. Yeah, they might leave. They might not. I don't know. But if shovels went in the ground in Oakland, we'd feel so good. It'd be such a nice release. So hopefully we'll see. And obviously a new ballpark would be more expensive, but it feels like a lot of those making fun of the A's tropes would also dissipate, if not completely go away. Their ballpark would not be the worst in baseball. At worst, it would probably be middle of the pack. It may be better than Fenway because Fenway, some people are like it's top 5. Some people are like, it's old and the bathroom sucks. So maybe it's better than Fenway in some people's eyes. That'd be a step. If it was 10th, completely, I don't care. It's not last. I don't care anymore. That'd be great. I am fine with an average ballpark with good plumbing and seats that face home plate. That's all that I want is seats that face home plate. That's all that I'm hoping for. I went to Arizona once. I've been to Arizona a few times. I went to their ballpark at Chase Field, one on the ballpark tour, and I was blown away that all of their seats faced home plate. That was amazing to me. And that's a feature that any A's ballpark needs to have because I'm tired of craning my neck. That's why I sit behind home plate. I don't sit behind home plate. That's why I would like to sit behind home plate when I go to a baseball game. Can't afford that. Anyways, the plumbing would presumably work in this new ballpark. That would be great. And ownership may actually spend money on the roster too. So all of the A's tropes that they're made fun of all the time. You got plumbing. You got it being a terrible place to play baseball and watch baseball and all that stuff. And that the A's ownership doesn't spend money. All of those things could be out the window. And being an A's fan could be a lot easier. Does that mean that getting a ballpark makes the A's a perennial contender? No, not necessarily. There would be hope, but there's no guarantee. The Angels got Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani and Anthony Rendon and 0 pitchers. So it's not like having good players or great Hall of Fame players. I guess 2 of them might be in the Hall of Fame. Shohei's making a good case. I don't know about Rendon. Probably not. Mike Trout's already in. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a perennial contender, but it does mean that maybe they'll sell out a few more games a season, and that would be fun. The biggest thing for me would have to be solidifying the A's as Oakland's team. That is the biggest thing for a ballpark getting built. This is now Oakland's team. We've seen the Warriors move across the bay. We've seen the Raiders move a few times, but they're currently in Las Vegas. The A's would be Oakland's team, and they would have chosen Oakland, and they'd be here for the next, let's say, 30 years. We don't know how long they can't move for, but let's say 30 years. That's probably the rest of my life. Nah, I'll have a few more years than that, but it's a long time. And that would mean a lot to me, I think, just having those roots planted. Pardon their marketing plan working on me in the moment, but yes, they would have those. They would be rooted in Oakland, and I would thoroughly appreciate that. And because I grew up going to the Coliseum with my dad, my grandpa, my wife for the past 9 years. How long have we been together? 8 years. There we go. I've gone with work friends, college friends, by myself. There have been so many memories made for me in my life at the Oakland Coliseum, and I'll always have those memories. But what I would love most about a new ballpark in Oakland is the opportunity to create those new memories with my son. He's coming in a couple of months. Can't wait to meet him, and I can't wait to bring him to some baseball games. It wouldn't be the same place that I grew up going to with, the generational stuff or with my friends and just recreating those moments, but I could create new moments, and I'm completely okay with that. Because my son and I would still be allowed to go see the same team that I grew up rooting for in the same city, and that's arguably the biggest part of a baseball experience for a lot of us, is just having that experience of rooting for the same team with similar, if not the same people that you grew up going to games with. And I think that that's what I want, is just them to be here so we can go do that. And I can share my love of A's baseball with him on a not daily basis, but a somewhat regular basis, where if they do move, or if they had moved, then I wouldn't be able to do that. If they're in Vegas, I'm not taking him to Vegas when he's 5 to go watch a baseball game. No, we're going to wait until he's 18. But having the A's in Oakland would mean that we get to go watch them together a few times a season. That'd be great. And I would thoroughly appreciate that. And Oakland's always going to have a different vibe regardless of where the ballpark is. And that is kind of the experience that I'm talking about when I'm talking about going to an A's game specifically. Whereas if you put them in Vegas, is it going to be the same thing? No. If they move up to Portland, is it going to be the same thing? No. Every city has its own thing. Oakland has its own vibe, and I like going to the Coliseum and A's games in particular because of that vibe. And after nearly 2 decades of looking for a new Bay Area ballpark, and even longer with the A's threatening to leave Oakland entirely, basically since the moment they got to Oakland, officially planting those roots in Oakland after all of the stress, the worrying, the questions from your friends about the A's ballpark situation, it would all be over, and it would all have turned out all right. And to get that ballpark in Oakland would be the biggest win that any team could have this offseason. And the second biggest win that a team could have this time of year is winning the World Series. And the Astros just punched their ticket. So let's talk about it coming up on Locked On A's. So stay locked in. Locked On A's, and I will be right back. We're back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of the basketball season and more props, odds, lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head on over to our new updated desktop or mobile device and mobile website. I apologize. Sorry, BetOnline. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website. There you go. To sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. That is code Locked On. That is one word combined. It's all caps in front of me. So use code Locked On and you will be getting a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you go to BetOnline. And you can go from basketball bets, football bets, baseball's postseason bets. There are World Series bets to be made if you want to root against a certain team. There, you also got the NHL, boxing, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Do not wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to place a bet on all of your favorite sports, and that's because BetOnline is where the game starts. All right. Well, that's fun. So the Astros are in the World Series. You guys excited? Woo! So not happy about it. Baseball's a dumb sport. Bitter A's fan gives his take on the World Series. You're welcome. Enjoy. Alrighty. Awesome. Let me know what you guys think about the Astros in the World Series down below. But let's get back into this one. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts, including on our new YouTube channel. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at @JasonB on Twitter and in the Spotify Green Room app. If you guys have any questions for us, please send those to lockedonathletics@gmail.com. So let's talk about the ALCS, which is now over, and some thoughts that I had while watching Game 3 of the ALCS. And specifically, when the Red Sox went up 9-0 after 3 innings, I was very high on my horse. And I also remember thinking, it's too bad this game only counts as one game. Why can't this be 2 wins? Because they're absolutely pummeling the Houston Astros right now. And not to say that I'm Nostradamus, but oh man, did it not go well for the Boston Red Sox after that game. Turns out that would be the last game that the Red Sox won in the series, and it was also the last time that their offense even picked up a bat. In games 4 through 6 combined, the Sox scored 3 total runs. I'm not saying that the 2020 A's were like the best team ever, but they scored a lot. They got blown out in a few games against the Astros, but they scored a lot more runs against this team. Why can't better offensive players do that too? I'm confused. It's weird. Maybe it was just that they played in Dodger Stadium. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But what is weird to me is that people really like to sleep on the Houston Astros in the postseason for some reason. And I'm mostly talking about the national media. People are like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. They'll talk about him like, oh, Jordan, like in watching Game 6, they're like, Jordan Alvarez is one of the best hitters in baseball. I'm like, yeah, well, why do you guys never pick them to win the World Series or like do well? I don't like the Astros, but I know that they're a good team. Like I know that up here, down here in the heart, no, I can make arguments against them all day, but up here, I know better. And I don't know how you can keep picking against this team because it's one of those, like the Tom Brady principle. You basically pick Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl. And then once they're eliminated, then you start figuring out who the other teams you could, could win the Super Bowl would be. And the Astros just played in their 5th straight ALCS, and they're making their 3rd World Series appearance in 5 years. Yeah, they do good in October, you guys. It's not really a secret right now. Sure, one of those times they cheated, but the other 4, presumably, they didn't. Presumably. Doesn't mean that we don't like them. It just means that they know what they're doing, and they've got some good postseason performers. They, as we've seen mostly in 2020. I don't know why I keep motioning to my TV off off screen, but I am. As we saw in 2020, the A's handled them in the regular season, but they show up in the postseason. They just know what they're doing. They play good enough to win the division or be close, make it to the postseason, and then they just look, hey, it's October. We should probably start doing better. I can't explain it. Some players have it. It's weird. Doesn't matter who's on their team. Chas McCormick, he's not the one that they traded. Yes, that was Miles Straw. Chas McCormick's like, yeah, I'm great too now. It's October and I have an Astros uniform on. Is he great? I didn't necessarily pay close attention to the series. Did he have a good series? Probably. And I'm not going to congratulate the Astros or anything, but I will say that people should stop sleeping on them in October. I know that I pick against them every series, and it's not because they're not a good team. It's because I don't like them and I don't want them to win. That's why I pick against them in my head. I usually don't make my predictions public, except for the ALDS series preview that I did. I'm like, yeah, I want the White Sox to win because why not, I guess. And I guess that we could root for Dusty Baker, but do I like Dusty Baker enough to root for an Astros World Series? Not at all. Good luck, Dusty. You did this to yourself. Sorry, Dusty. Do not care. My hatred for the Astros is much deeper than my love for Dusty Baker, former Giants manager Dusty Baker. So we don't know who they're going to be playing yet. We got Game 6 of the NLCS on Saturday between the Braves and the Dodgers. But honestly, do we think that either of these teams is going to be a tough draw for the Astros? We've seen what the Astros do in October, and I don't think the Dodgers at full strength and hitting on all cylinders. Yeah, they're probably a good matchup for them, but meh. Right now, the Dodgers just look gassed after chasing the NL West title and not winning it the entirety of the season. And I know that they came up big in Game 5 of their series against the Braves, but that was at home, and they needed to win. Now they get to try and win 2 more against the Braves in Atlanta. Let's see what happens, I guess. What kind of shape would they be in if they actually won those 2 games in Atlanta? Because they're going to be using all of their pitchers, and they look tired right now. So the Astros are good. There are a better offense, I think, than the Atlanta Braves. Yes. I don't think that that's really a hard opinion on. Yes, I think that they're a better offense, mostly because they were the best offense in baseball. Shots fired, I guess. And the Braves, for their in their own right, are a good baseball team. They have gone further than a lot of people expected. I didn't really expect them to be in this position in the NLCS, up 3-1 again, and maybe blowing another 3-1 lead against the Dodgers, but probably not. They'll probably win, right? They've got to win, right? But they're a good team. But am I going to bet on them to beat Houston? No, I don't think so. I've already come up with my comeback for Astros fans that just show up in my mentions. And it's basically just me brushing off their 2nd World Series in 4 years and being like, yeah, well, everybody beats Atlanta in the World Series. You're not special. Get out of here. And then I'll show them the environmental impact report and be like, see, that's my World Series. We are staying in Oakland. And that's going to be my comeback because that's what we got right now. So am I looking forward to the Fall Classic? No, it's going to be a dumb baseball series, but somebody's going to win a crown and it's going to be fun, I guess, and people are going to talk about it. So I'll probably watch a decent amount of it. The Astros potentially winning another World Series would make an already unbearable fan base more unbearable. I'm not looking forward to interacting with those people on social media for like the next, I don't know, my life. They're just not fun. They just show up in my mentions with just a certain kind of energy, and I don't like it. So I have made good use out of the mute and block buttons because, oh my God, I don't need to be tagged in every tweet that I've ever sent. Be like, hey, how do you feel about this now? I'm like, well, that was 7 years ago. I don't know. The same? Still don't like your team. I don't like Tom Brady either. He wins too much. I want diversity in who wins championships. That's my thing. I like underdogs. I don't like teams that are like, look at us. We're great. No, I don't root for greatness. I root for mediocrity winning out every day. That's me, Jason Burke. But like I said in the previous segment, the A's making some legitimate headway towards their new ballpark being built in Oakland would be better than a World Series title. And I stand by that. I truly believe I would feel way more with that than I would any other team. I mean, if the A's won a World Series, sure, maybe. But I don't really care about the World Series if the A's are getting a ballpark. A different team winning a World Series if the A's are getting a ballpark. And if you ask me what it would take for the A's perfect offseason, it would be loads of progress on the ballpark front. I know they can't have shovels in the ground by opening day next year, but that would be the big thing. Getting some of these checks just ticked in those little squares. Just start ticking some squares. That's what I want on that piece of paper, the unofficial piece of paper that says the A's ballpark checklist. I want those boxes ticked. That's what I want. And then maybe they can expand some payroll and not trade Matt Olson. That would also be really cool, but I want a ballpark in Oakland, and that's where it all starts for me. Because without the ballpark, there is no Oakland A's. So you need the ballpark. You need to keep the A's in Oakland, and that's where I sit. Anyways, thank you guys so much for making Locked On A's your first listen. Now go make Sully and Locked On MLB your second listen. He's definitely got some thoughts about the upcoming World Series, and you're not going to want to miss those. Locked On MLB is free and available on all platforms, just like we are, like on YouTube. Type in Locked On A's or Locked On MLB in YouTube, and subscribe to both the shows and, enjoy, obviously. Anyways, that is it for me today, you guys. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, Oakland, and I will talk at you tomorrow.